equals 672 square feet. I'm going to label that on my construction paper. Okay, so number 4, checked off, ready to go. Now we got to get actually the planning part. Label the door to enter your store. This is the symbol that architects use. So this kind of line with a door and a little like half moon. Measure an actual door opening in feet. So that's where you can use a ruler, a measuring tape, a measuring, like a yardstick, anything that is used to measure. Your mom or dad may have some sort of measuring tape they used to sew, or if they do construction to fix stuff, ask to borrow that. So we need to measure an actual door opening in feet. Remember that 1 square foot equals 1 square. And then we need to draw and label it accordingly on the graph. So this is what I want you to do. Pause the video and then go measure a door. Don't forget to measure how far it goes when it swings out. Then come back and unpause the video. All right, so you've measured that door. I used a measuring tape. If you weren't able to use a measuring tape or a ruler, then you should pause this video right now and Google how many feet do you need for a door to open up and see what you get. When I measured, my door was 2.5 feet. So the actual door was 2.5 feet long, which means it also needed 2.5 feet to swing open. So let's go back and let's add that to our store or our plan, our design plans. So we measured the door and we know 1 foot equals 1 square. So we need to draw and label it accordingly. So 2.5 feet would be 2.5 of these blocks. So where am I going to put my door? I think I'm going to put my door right here on my store. So I'm going to draw this little thing right here, that little, what do we call that little symbol? So I'm going to draw just like that. And then they go like this. So it needs to be 2.5 feet tall as well. 2.5 feet across and 2.5 feet tall. And then we make a little arc. So find where you would like your door. Make sure this is the door opening. It needs to be 2.5 feet long. And then your door itself needs to be 2.5 feet long as well. Pause this video. Once you've paused and drawn your door, come back and let's keep going. Okay, so now we need to place a checkout counter. So we need to find something in our house, a countertop, a table, a dresser, whatever you think would be the size of a counter, a checkout counter that you would use to like check people out and pay for your candy. So measure what an actual store counter might equal in feet. So envision that in your mind and then go around your house and see what you can find that would be close to a checkout counter. Or again, if you don't have one of these or a ruler or some sort of measuring tape to measure, Google how long is a store checkout counter. See if you can figure it out. You got to do some Googling, some research. Then draw in your store. So we're going to ask ourselves, how much space does a checkout counter take? Are they all the same size? What tools do I need to measure it? Pause this video and let's come back once you know how long your counter is going to be. All right, so Miss Sharp decided that she wants her checkout counter to be about 6 feet long by about 3 feet wide. So 3 feet across. So about 3 feet. So now what we are going to go back here. We're going to say, okay, now where in my store do I want to draw this checkout counter? It looks like that. I think my checkout counter is going to be near the door because if I think about stores, they're normally near the door. So we're going to do it right about here. So it's going to be 3 feet. And then it's going to be 6 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go again. Ooh, but I need to stand behind the checkout counter. So I need to bump it out a little bit because if this is my wall, if someone can't stand behind the checkout counter, that's no good. This is why you do it in pencil. So I'm going to start my checkout counter here. And bump it out. That gives enough people to walk by. Enough space to walk by. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remember, as you're keeping in mind that people need space to walk. So here's gives me 2 feet to go behind the checkout counter. Space for people to walk in and out of the store. Okay, so there's my checkout counter. Pause this while you decide where it's going to go. Don't forget, you have to give space for people to walk and stand behind your counter. So now we need to brainstorm other items you will need to put in your store. So this doesn't mean like the displays, what you're going to put your candy on. This just means what other things may you have in your store that you need to put in. So Miss Sharp wants a seating area. So like little places, a little thing for people to eat. So that means a chair. So I'm going to write chair, seating area chair, and seating area table. Because I want people to like be able to sit and eat their candy. So brainstorm, what would you like to put in? What would you like your measurements to be? And the area. So how long is it? Okay, or how big is it? What is the area? Our area of our checkout counter is 6 feet by 3 feet or 18 feet. So I need to go in and I need to label. We didn't do this. Let's go back and do it right now. And I need to label checkout counter. So go back and label that right now so you know what that is. And I'm going to label it 18 feet squared. All right. So think about it. Go measure the items. You need to measure it or research how big these items are. And then go ahead and draw them back in. Now, you're not going to draw like an actual chair that looks like that. That's not how we would look at in these building plans. We would draw a square or a circle or whatever shape it is when you're looking down. So go ahead, go do some research, go do some brainstorming, and then come back when you're ready. Now don't forget and really think about what would you put in your store. Right, you're going to want to put a lot of candy in. All right, so Miss Sharp decided she wanted her little seating area. And a chair is 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet, or 2.25 feet squared. And a table is 2 feet by 2 feet, or 4 feet squared. So remember, when you're going to draw them, you need to do these measurements. So Miss Sharp did a 2 foot, a little bigger than 2 feet, but 2 foot by 2 foot table. So don't do the area. The area is the middle by 1.5 by 1.5 chairs. So they're kind of looking out the window. The rest of the space is for candy. So you're going to draw, notice how I just drew above. So remember, you're going to do your measurements. Length times width. How many across by how many up. And now you are ready for part 2. So once you have finished all of that, pause the video and let's get ready for part 2. Watch the next video for the next set of directions.